संयुक्तं गृहीणायोजितं मयं दीपं गृहानदिवेशं त्रैलोक्यातिमिरापहं। जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती। पापियों को पाप से है तारती। जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती। पापियों को पाप से है तारती। ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मुक्ति पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला। ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मुक्ति पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योति जगाने वाला। हरि ज्ञान यही वरदान यही हरि ज्ञान यही वरदान यही जग की मंगल के आरती। पापियों को पाप से है तारती। जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती। पापियों को पाप से है तारती। ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला। ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला है। सुख करनी है दुख हरनी है सुख करनी है दुख हरनी। ये मधुसूदन की आरती। पाप से है तारती। जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती। पापियों को पाप से है तारती। ये मधुर बोल जग पंड खोल सन मार्ग दिखाने वाला बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला। श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही प्रभु की महिमा के आरती। पापियों को है तारती। जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती। पापियों को पाप से है तारती। पापियों को पाप से है तारती। Om. Together everybody. Gajananam Bhutaganadisevitam Kapeta Jambo Palacharabhakshritam Umasutam Sho Kavinashkarakam Namami Veganeshwara Padapankajam Sarvamangalamangale Shive Sarvartasadhike Sharanye Trayambike Gauri Narayani Namostute Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Om Namah Shivaya. Everybody. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Devotees, please have your seat. Make yourself comfortable. Sitaram, everybody. For all of you online, Sitaram and cordial welcome. This is our 9th session of our 3rd Bhagwat. And this evening, our discourse a little different. Somebody was watching online and they would, I said, send me a question and all of that. And the head of the Sanatan Dharma temple in an area of Guyana, Pandit Ubraj Narayan, he said, we started to talk about how people is imitate God. That in Kali Yuga, you just have a lot of distraction. He says, everybody seems to be God. To please read the Katha where somebody tries to imitate Krishna. Siddharma teacher. I don't know if you ever hear this discourse. I don't think I've ever read it home here. Somebody goes to preface what we're going into tonight. Somebody goes and says, I am the real Krishna to Krishna, and you are the fake Krishna. Stop saying you're God. I am God. I have more power than you. Where we left off in our last point, Vidura, the step-brother of Pandu and the blind king Dhritarashtra, he left Yudhava and he journeyed after some time to Haridwar, where he meets Maitreya, his father's friend, of Sukdev Goswami, his father Vedvyas. And after they meet and they sit down and they talk, he says, I'm very confused about this Krishna and what we have to understand and what are the lessons. Please, for the little time we are sitting together, please teach me about him. Before we do so, everybody, let's do our Sumiran. Please put your hands together. And you're asking God, please allow me the purification by listening to your discourse, the benefit that I might see change in my life. I am going to see change in my life. Ganesh Baba, Lord Shiva, please, Vishnu Bhagwan, help me. Say a prayer. Redhi Siddhi Data Siddhi Sadana Vadana Vadana Sumiro Bharambad Madana Kadana Ke Lalako Ganapati Kripa Nidhan Jnana Kani Ananda Bhavana Dehu Mohi Vardhan Varano Bhasha Bhagavat Jai Shiva Ananda Kanda Bhutanata Bhava Bhaya Harana Bhakti Vishaya Nirvan Gauravadana Mangala Karna He Braja Chandra Mukunda Braja Bhushana Dushana Harana Katahu Bhava Bhaya Panda Charana Sharana Leana Kara Jai 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 Jagadisha Shweta Shesha Mahishaja Mahimamita Bheva Veda Veda Janata Rahe Riddhi Siddhi Data Siddhi Sarana Varana Varhana Sumiro Bharambad Madana Kadhana Ke Lalako Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. To understand where we are going tonight in this discourse, you have to understand who Vidur is. Vidur is this stepchild that Duryodhan says, because you are just a step, you are not my blood. Put down the crown, put down the gold, put down everything and get out from here. And drives him like a dog. His brother, the blind king that you hear about in Gita, this is his older brother. And no matter what Vidur guided Dhritarashtra, listen, rape is not right. Do not let your sons rape that girl. You are a caretaker sitting on the throne of your brother. You are not fit to be king. Leave that gold, leave that property for your brother's children. Do not fight them for what is not yours. Look, your brother-in-law Shaukani, when we talked about the dice and how it was the bone of his father's hand. Imagine your sister, according to our thing, when the girl gets married and she goes wherever she has to live, how in this case the brother-in-law went to live in his sister's home, and instead the mamu helping the children, he becomes the poison. He encourages grief, he encourages envy, he encourages revenge that bring about the downfall of that family. We heard that the father of Gandhari, which is the blind king's wife, his father-in-law, after a little melee, a falling out because of the nature of her marriage, the father of Gandhari tells Shaukani, you're going to live there. When you go there, don't tell nobody anything. Remember the shame, remember the pain, remember the debt your brother-in-law, the blind king, caused we here. And when you go there, do your work in secret and spite your own family and kill all of them. Cause them to fall, cause them to die. So much pain, so much suffering, that when the 100 sons of that blind king are dead, Gandhari blames Lord Krishna and says at any point in this Mahabharata war, you could have ended this war, you could have saved my children. The father, the mother didn't save their own children, but God could have saved the children. I put a shrap on you, you will live to see your own family's death. And Krishna, as we heard, he has 10 children and he does live to see all of them perish when Dwaraka goes into the ocean. Vidur is the person who has been listening to all of this horrible news and bad news, and he's reached now to this person who knows more about the secrets of Lord Vishnu. And he says to him, dear Guru, people engage in actions that lead to happiness, that you will think will give them happiness, different projects, different areas of study, different things they endeavor into. But somehow the happiness is kind of pulled back. They have to do more, one more day, one more week, and then they will get happiness. And along the way for that search of happiness, they constantly are bombarded by surprises of misery. It seems as if every time a day comes, a day ends, misery takes a new form, a new frustration, a new way to take from the person their energy, their life, their happiness, their peace of mind, their sleep. In some way, it seems as if there is a God, but where there is a God in this earth, I am confused a little bit because of the presence of all forms of negative. How could, if God created me in his image, but in the image, and we spoke about this, it seems as if I'm riddled with disease, with afflictions, in other words, miseries in different ways, different people. I understand they said karma. So in our conversation Sunday, if God, in other religion you hear God made man in his image, perfection. But where was God when the person is born with mental problems? Schizophrenia is the word, that multiple personality, etc. If a person in this life, whilst you have good sense, speak or spite your parents, ill speak, harm, damn, because of how your mind is, in your next life, that act leads to mental instability. For example, God created it. How is it that in his creation there are flaws, it seems, painful moments, bad? Then it seems that I do not have a comprehensive view of creation. I am of the opinion that when God created something, he created good. But where does bad stuff come from? Where does bad people come from? Where does these things that devoid of light and good, well, lack of sattvic, full of negative, how does it work? How is it that those things are created? Our minds are never satisfied with listening to some descriptions of Christian Katha or the Katha of good. We are told that by listening to it, people get upliftment. Please tell me more. Help me understand. I've understood what the name Narayan means. Help me to understand more about him, so that I could be freed from this doubt and this type of loss. Where does calamity, where does bad days come from? How to overcome it? Please use my ears. I was created with the ability to hear, but I want to hear something that will bring value to me. The understanding of people that is developed by sitting and listening to things that would lead them into a place of delight, such as the footsteps of Sri Hari Vishnu, removes the sorrows. It removes the problems. For this reason, Sukdev Goswami tells Raja Parikshit, this is why my father wrote Bhagavad. People did not understand Lord Vishnu, but he had already written Mahabharata. And in understanding Mahabharata, some people got the story, some people didn't. But we don't do Mahabharata Yagna, because when he wrote the Mahabharata, people didn't get the connection, so people did not understand the story. So if you do Mahabharata Yagna, it is like a Gyan Yagya, but it is not Puja. He says for this reason, when he was unrested and he realized there was a problem, he comes back as his last work and he pens Bhagwat Mahapuran. He says there are, in this age of Kali Yuga, when Krishna has left the world, there is going to be a propagation of negativity and different types of confusion, different types of people. One verse here says, people will misuse good and godly things to confuse people who are not sure of the divine. when we were talking about how Hinduism explains other religion, where does other religion come from? What is the role of it? Why we don't criticize and condemn? But if the person understands where it is coming from, God created. And if a person has the karma to understand it, he says that in this section here, people use religion to cause strife, separatists, breakdown of all types of morality, and in it, everything is being done for God. He says, this is reflected even when Krishna was alive, and when Krishna left the earth, it became more predominant. In one discourse, we'll talk about that, where it is illustrated. Let me join together. Sukadeva Goswami, later in Bhagwat, to build the point, describes when Krishna is still in Dwarka, but somebody was envious of God. Jai Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam, 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 Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam, Jaya Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam, Nanda Brajagataye Ramme, Kuruvanshye Dipaye Patak, Vasudevo Ye Hridaya Yagya Dhutam Krishna Prahiyatam, Jaya Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam, Jaya Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam, Jaya Bhole Baba Tab Sharanam, Jaya Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam, Jaya Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam. Umapati Mahadeva Ki Jai. I'm reading tonight from Book 10 of Bhagwat. Sukadeva Goswami tells to Parikshit, please listen. Balaram had left Dwarka and Krishna was alone in Dwarka. Balaram went where Nanda and Yashoda was. And being in that place, Krishna was defenseless or less defended compared to when Balaram is there. In this way, one day, a messenger comes to the court of where Krishna is, and he says, I have brought a message from my Lord, from my master. Please receive this proclamation. He says, you call yourself the Lord, you call yourself Vasudeva, you call yourself the ruler and the protector of this universe. But only foolish people follow you. People who do not have sharp wit, people who are dull-witted, in fact, they follow you, O impostor. You are not the true God of this world. You just sit in a high, lofty throne, call yourself a dark boy, and for that reason, like children playing in a play, you are acting as if you are something divine. All the ministers, all the soldiers are getting ready to hit this person. Krishna is smiling and he says, messenger, who is your Lord? Who is your master? Who are you speaking on behalf of? He says, wait, imposter, fake Krishna, but the fake Krishna he's talking to is the real one. Vasudevo Vartanyatam Hridaya evam chaparparha bhutanamaye paryate varnashi ye yatvai jaya bhole baba tab sharanam. He says, my master says, I am the true Vasudeva. I am the only one that has descended upon this earth. And I have come to reclaim what is rightfully mine. You are warned. You should relinquish this false title that you are holding on to. My master is the one who has the Vanmala, Last session we talked about how Sudama gives Radha the curse and he ends up as the shank. How does Lord Vishnu has the shank in his hand, and why do we blow the shank in prayers? Because of Sudama and his curse. He says, I am the one who has this shank as my emblem. They discuss the Sudarshan Chakra. I have it. Oh, stupid fool. Come out from here. Give up Dwaraka and I will protect you. Sukdev Goswami is telling Parikshit, did you ever hear about the king named Pundraka? All of the other kings, remember, Krishna is an emperor. He's the head of many kings, districts. And all these other kings, Ugrasen is one of them, started to laugh at the messenger. Are you crazy? How could you call him an impostor? Who is this person, this Pundraka? What are you talking about? Where did this come from? Oh, fool. Ugrasen says, do you want us to take up the flag that has his emblem, and that will damage you? The flag alone, nothing else. The emblem of this true form will cause problems. Sukdev Goswami says, in the age of Kali Yuga, when you hear darkness, sometimes people will not understand what Kali Yuga will bring, but it will bring confusion. It will cause people to wonder, I wonder if what I am doing is real, or what you are doing is genuine or authentic. The person in this case introduces it is this person, this king. And Krishna gets up and he says, go and tell your king I will meet him on the battlefield. Krishna mounted his chariot and they head to Kashi, where Pundraka is staying by his friend Kashi Raj, the head of that area. Listening to the advancement of the army, this fake personality who wants to take the position of Lord Krishna, he mounts a strong force, great amount of army, Shaukanis, different regiment is prepared. And when the Pundraka is at the front, Kashi Raj is at the back defending their forces. Krishna saw that the Pundraka was wearing replicated armaments on his body, representing a fake Panchajaya, Shank, the Nandaka sword, the different things that make Krishna visible and identifiable by his forces. His flag has Garud, it has the Shank, everything. And in this, the person starts to talk and send more message. How sinful, how sad that you have come here with this brazen way. Son, I using the parents for you to understand who talking to who. Fake person talking to the son of Vasudeva. He says, son of Vasudeva, you should be ashamed to come here and stand on this battlefield. What do you do for people? What is your purpose? Do you help anybody? Krishna told the son of Vasudeva, tells Pundraka, whatever weapon you want, whatever you want me to put down, you come and lift it up. You come and take it. If you are able to take it, oh ignorant fella, never understanding the true strength of God in this form, you are talking about helping people, but you help no one. In fact, what you are doing is bringing your forces, your soldiers to die. Sukdev Goswami says, when people like this come up with their false claims, the people who follow them because of their weak karma. A person who has a weakness in their karmic strength, the soul has not gained the amount to understand truthfulness, or to identify the divinity. And for this reason, they become, as it were, foolish, and they follow foolish tenets, foolish fellows, foolishness. They start to practice things that are wrong. So, for example, you will hear people use the emblems of Hinduism in prejudicial or racial ways, such as taking somebody sent a message asking about how we have the swastika representing the Devi, the energy, but now I see it in a Nazi symbol. So if I go Europe and I have, as a Hindu, might have a tattoo with the swastika, I have to cover it up. Otherwise, I could be, pulled aside in the airport as a hate crime, or I'm showing hatefulness just because of having that one thing. I represent one way, but people use it for other ways. There are many other examples of that. And because I put the tattoo on my body, people are judging me now, but they don't know the truth. The problem is they don't know the truth. Some people use just as we use coconut on prayer, people use coconut and they bastardize the worship, they bastardize the offerings that you make. For example, you want to drink the alcohol, but they will say the God want the alcohol. For example, there's different ways people use it, that the book says we have to offer liquor, share liquor. God wants the liquor. When you don't know better, people will follow it. And this is something that people have to be very careful. For this reason, when a person is looking at your Gita and he talks about sattvic nature, he always talks about the ability to discern what is right and what is wrong. There's nothing wrong in asking a question. In most of our texts, everybody is asking why, Guruji, why, Narad Muni is always asking why. There's nothing wrong if I want to get clarity. He says in this way, this person waged war, a long war with Lord Krishna. And one by one, as Lord Krishna was doing his work to remove the weight of unrighteous people. Sometimes people hear that and they don't understand what weight. We mentioned it last session. Remember, there's a katha where Mother Earth, when we talked about how she ended up named Prithvi, because she comes from Prithu, when Lord Vishnu took that avatar. And he tells her, okay, you want to hold up your children? When your children touch you, you will take the negativity, the problems that they are facing. You will become the holder of it. For this reason, you're barefoot tonight. When you go to your prayers, and it is be bowing and touching the earth. Part of our religion is touching Mother Earth, so that you ground off and you allow your electrical energy. If everything is bowing and touching metal, to pull the electrical energy to recharge yourself. Energy cannot be destroyed. It has to go somewhere. So you make the circuit complete by touching the earth. And because now so much of people in Kali Yuga is sick, suffering under some form of pressure, and you're asking for help, take away my trouble, take away my trouble, take away my trouble, it becomes overburdened with this negative energy. And this is where she takes the form of the cow time and time again. When he was to come, this is where Gobar becomes, the reason why we lipe the baby, Mother Lakshmi Sitaram. Mother Lakshmi sit in the intestine of the cow. And from today, if you sit in the intestine, people will demarcate wherever an altar has to be. The reason we lipe them, if you don't put that Lakshmi there, it is not fit to bring the Devta. When he's going Sunday morning, when we're doing Gita Mahatyam, you're leaving, where you're going, and now call you and I tell you to stay. The earth now start to get light. You kill all of the bad people, the stupid people, the selfish people, the people who trying to skull other people. When you leave, Kali Yuga is coming. If you do that, everything will go back. And this is where he says, no, I left on the earth, the Bhagavad Gita. If the person use the book, if they read it, worship it, share it, put it, this is why we just give it in down. Gita, Ganga, Chagayatri, Sita, Satya, Saraswati. Chapter 1 is the head, chapter 2 and 3 is the shoulder. And like that, the 18th chapter form the body. So somebody said, okay, I had Bandara, but I don't understand why I give the book in charity for. Simple language, it is him. Use it. He says wherever the book is placed, where it is read, where it is studied, where I bring it, where I bout it, I am there. So if you go in an office and you see a Gita book, the person is saying, instead of putting a Murti, I am putting a different form of the God that might be more understanding to non-Hindu. But I want the protection. It is viable. In the same way, I'll put it in my car. They say wherever a Gita book is, people who have bad intention, let me just use a word, the bandit, cannot come. So the person who does the Gita part is saying, please purify. When you hear the word, it purifying the place. How that me up in the floor? How that purifying the place? The energy, the tendency that somebody might watch them and say, they have. Let me go there. It look like I'll get through easy. If I go there to thief, I'll get through easy. And the opposite now. Them people look like that dog. Me, I want to go there. Something guiding the individual, go from here. You just see it when you're in the bank. If me and you in the line in the bank, and teller 1 open, teller 10, something about teller 1, auntie, you go there. I don't feel that person. If I go there, I won't get through. But you see teller 10, something telling me come. If I go by here, I'll get through. I like how that person looking. Something is telling you come, and on the same time, something is telling you don't come. Hindus use that constantly. When somebody put tail, when you go to do prayer and is sitting on the kush grass, tools, prayers to help the energy. Baba, I have an interview tomorrow. What prayers I could say to help get through with what I'm going for? So we use mantras, we use different things. In all of it, it is charged by the power of Mahavishnu. If a person understands how he created those things and why he created it, and you understand just when we was talking about why it is take the form. If you think about it, to go over where we talked last night, Saraswati does not take avatar to fight on your behalf. Lord Shiva is the assistant. When Ram come as the main hero, Lord Shiva come as Durbasa, he come as Hanuman, he come as different forms to help him. Test Krishna when Krishna gets shot in his foot. Why of all the place in his foot he had to get shot? Lord Shiva was integral as the son of Krishna, but never the main person. We heard where he comes, you don't understand me in the invisible form. I'll come and I'll take a form. You're going through hardship, I'll help you with the hardship. And then you'll be motivated. You will have faith in something. So you hear about discourses where a Jamil in Bhagwat, a Jamil lived a sinful life, but when the soul comes out, he is still allowed to get forgiveness. Gajendra is a sinful guy, he's born in this elephant form, and the alligator snap onto the foot and he's squeezing, and in the pain, Gajendra still calls for Lord Vishnu. And because of that tendency, he got the liberation. Today, when people are in the hospital and they're suffering, they're on a catheter, the life I want to live. Nobody says, I want to see my person die. But think what I'm saying, sometimes a vegetable situation now in the hospital, vegetative state. And the person says, Pandit, I'm feeling sorry for my mother, I'm going in a year and there's no sign of recuperating. Could we pray for mercy now? What to do? The same prayer we use today is the same prayer where Gajendra is saying, dear God, it don't have coming back. I know I'm not going to recuperate from this alligator bite. You have to save me and end this pain. You have to end this suffering. And the Hindu till today, you in this one example, when they know the prayer, I am not going to suffer. I am not going to go in pampers. I am not going to be in that way. I don't want it. Pray like that and you will not have that. Lord Vishnu is the person who is putting it in different ways for different people to understand. Some, like where we was reading lunchtime, it have where the description of the atom started to separate. And when you hear it, maybe for the elder, like how we had Pandit, 99 years old, he wouldn't understand that. But if you're talking about a battle between good and bad at a different level, the child might understand the friction on the battlefield. But when you listen to the illustration, like in this discourse, and then you hear the language of the Gita, the Ramayana is the same thing, it's just explained differently. The same person that is fighting on the battlefield, O Parikshit, is the individual if somebody prays to be surrounded by truthfulness. If the person feels like, they will say you're in a business or you're in some company and there are people who are smiling but they are smiling. The person is trying to set you up in simple language or, in some way do something nefarious to you, a secondary motive. If the person calls on Krishna with this type of thinking, the person is able to be surrounded in a place of truthfulness, because as he is the person in this discourse, he is able to rid the situation, the people of Kashi, from untruth. Kashi Raj reach up on him and he draws the weapons and he's ready for killing my friend. How could you kill my friend? And Krishna asks him, how could you, knowing that this entire thing that is happening here is a lie, how could you encourage lying to the innocent people that are just following their politician, following the king? You know it is not true. How? What type of person does that to the innocent people? Encouraging their forces to amass now and go and execute the order to fight in sight of a lie. What type of person propagates against other people untruths, slander, hate, damage, and now in this case, battle? In the moment where Krishna destroys Pundraka, he destroys Kashiraj, he lets the Sudarshan Chakra, he says this is the holder, this gift. Where does the Sudarshan Chakra come from? Lord Shiva. He is the person who makes, that is the kind of circular slow blade we see. Lord Shiva makes it and he says, here, this is for you, go fight unrighteousness. For that reason, when he has the Sudarshan Chakra in his hand, till today people do Satya Narayan Puja. When the person is doing Satya Narayan Puja and they're looking upward at the moon when it's full moon night, if you walk into a place, if because Satya means truthfulness, Narayan means God, and the person bowing to the Murti, one of the grace that you get in your relationship, let me just say man, woman, or parent, child, the child keeping the secret. Somebody is lying, let me agree. But somehow something plays, your text on the phone, somebody come and leak the S to you. I didn't want to tell you, mommy, but I have to tell you. How you find out? How the mother does have it like eyes behind she head? How did you know? One of the ways, when the person does this in this example, the person offers the fig in the Satya Narayan Puja. One of the blessings that the person gets, they inherit it. This is why we do it, is that this truthfulness and an energy of truthfulness follows them. That wherever they are, the unrighteousness, this double talk, the second motive, it have to come out. It may be rough, the truth sometimes can be bitter and dangerous, but you will know the truth. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Now we have two people, leaders, that have been destroyed. Krishna takes his forces and he gets into Kashi. But Sudakshana is the son of the fake Krishna, Pundraka, crying, you see father fall. And he goes and he does the Antishti, the funeral, does all the requirements, and he says, what unfortunate series of events could bring about my father's death like this. Sukdev Goswami says the unfortunate thing in this age of Kali Yuga is that even when people make mistakes, they will not see it themselves. They will not see the mistake. And they will propagate that I am on the right side. How do you know a person is in somebody's phone? How do you know the person is lost in this age of Kali Yuga? They themselves start to believe that they cannot improve. You cannot do better. You are the best. And you know it all. The person is clouded. Their vision is so covered that you are making the mistake and there's no way to stop it. Think about the person who has an addiction problem. Just to explain for children. I know I do it. My belly big. You should go to the gym. You should try. Me a bong to do that. I don't bong to change. Everything I am doing is set and is perfect. I am right. No matter how you try to do intervention in today's world, I am right. The school teacher has seen it every day in school. Everything I am doing is beyond compare. You, the teacher, wrong. I am right. And you will see as time is passing in Kali Yuga, many other examples exist, obviously. But it seems as if this type of thinking will be on the rise, and the person, rather than take good advice, seek therapy, or some way to uplift the self or better the self, that will be on the decline. This son, being so blinded, Parikshit goes and he's praying now to Lord Shiva. But he does not want to pray to Lord Shiva in the sattvic form. That will take too long. He puts himself by the Guru and he asks, I want a vengeful mantra. I would like a prayer that will bring about quick results, to bring revenge, harm, dam, death, mayhem in the life of that man, Krishna. He has caused problems for me. I'm going to return with revenge. I want to master black magic. Slok 31, chapter 66, book 10. He says, teach me how to use prayer to propagate unrested souls. When long time it had yag and you have 5 pundit by the bedi, there's the Hotri, the one who does the Hawan, and he's doing jap throughout the night. But when that person, their job is the Hawan, that's all they have to do. They become very knowledgeable about using different prayer and how to do it. Yesterday we were talking about why when you are receiving your panchamrit, the best way, right hand on top, bend the index finger and you squeeze with your thumb, you squeeze the nail to receive it, so that you activate the nerve. In Chinese do it with under the foot. Hindus just do it with your finger. So when you see different mudra or hand gestures like this one, when somebody asks you, good. When somebody asks you, I see it has Hawan spoon. The whole tree uses 4 different Hawan spoons in a typical prayer. But I see only Hindus eat with your hand. Think back in terms of COVID time when that was an issue. Why it is eat with your hand? This mudra that you see when people doing chumain for the wedding is calling and conjuring Lakshmi to sit here. So in the chume part, you're saying sit on the person, remove bad, take away bad. In the food, you're saying bless every morsel I eat or touch. So it comes as if the person is praying every time they eat. Teach me the art now, not for the good one. Don't teach me how to pray to God and good in sattvic method. Teach me black magic. Teach me how. When people talk about cemetery work, why Hindu don't let people put different things in the box in a funeral? Because people try to put things that will cause corruption for the living members of the family. So we only allow people to put flowers. If you go to a military funeral in the West Indies, they try to put shoes, hat, shirt, pants, the gun belt, different things. So it is as if you're packing a suitcase then in the coffin. Sometimes the person's foot, to be honest, it is be a little more elevated like this with the amount of things that is put there. But if somebody is against the family, and I explaining it just for you to know, they would put things sometime in the shoe, they could hide it in different compartment. The Hindu don't want that. Don't put things that could bring down. We want peace, we want shanti. Put your flowers if you must. For this reason, this son sat and he inquired and he inquired and he learned. Sukdev says, depending on the nature of the person, God in his creation, and this is where we're heading in the morning, God in his creation made tamasic, sattvic, rajasic. Sometimes people, I've said it, I said it again, Hindus don't believe in the devil. Hindus believe in God. God made everything, believe it or not. There are some people that understand in Gita, it says if you pray to spirit, go to spirit. This is kind of building on that point. That the science of prayer has where some people are very revengeful and vengeful. They are there. And then there are some people that pray different. And there are some people that are a little more, what is the word? Charitable, caring, forgiving. Chapter 12 of Gita. There are some people could forgive and there are some people that can't. So in other words, he created a prayer method for everybody, depending on your level. Of course, you strive for betterment, but this is where some people are. This is how he makes different religion. If God is one, if we keep saying God is one, why would you create different religion? He says some people are at this level. Let them go into that. When you say the devotee of Krishna is one, what about the next 900,000 plus people? He says, let them follow some other path. It might have good in it. It might have bad in it, weaknesses. There are some people that think God could only live in the four walls of their building, their church. There are some people will oppress women and harm and damn in the name of God. But everything is God. There are people that will commit suicide in the name of God. And when you watch it, you would ask, as a Sanatanist, because your concept of God and non-violence is different, you will wonder, how? How could you think like that? What is driving this force inside of you? And this is where the differentiation between people according to Hinduism is explaining how, yes, you look human, but there's a difference in your character. There's a difference in your mind. And when you see the difference in the world, when you see racial, prejudicial, when you see it, you wonder, how? If we talk about the Nazi time with that little excerpt of that insignia, how you call it? Sitaram. When you come and sit down there. When you look at it and you see people say one thing but act different, you wonder how God, in the same God, make them. God live in everybody, but I only like people that look like me. I could only feed people that pray like me. I could murder otherwise. In our Hinduism, it talks about where that difference comes from. Because if you don't understand the creation and the power of God, then you are saying good things, only good things come from God, bad things come from somewhere else. Think about the nice sunset and the beautiful beach, and you're saying, ah boy, this is really God's creation. But the hurricane come from God too. In other words, when you have to interact with rough days and bad days, not everybody is ready to say, God help me through this storm. This fella is falling prey to it. When things are good and they are raining and there's a lot of gold in the treasury, I could see God. God is good. When his father died, he went dark. God had to mash up all these people now, and he gets into it. He starts to use his fingers in different way. Instead of like Hawan with your right hand, he starts to use prayer and different posture with the left hand, and he's calling on dark forces now. Go and destroy. Who appears from the Hawan? The same Lord Shiva. But now the beard is made of ambers and fiery, mustache, etc. And Lord Shiva warns him, you could use this power all you want. Do not use it against people who protect chanters of the Gayatri or people who pray for clean reasons. If you attack those people, this type of prayer will turn on you. That is the only limitation of this Abhichar type of prayer. Do not go there. Knowing fully well that Krishna was the one who was protecting all the Brahman, all the people who was doing different type of stapan with Gayatri. This person still did not see the truth in it, and he goes behind them. The walls of Dwarka are broken. The people start to get slaughtered by the onslaught of this darkness. It is potent. Krishna came to the window. He did not drag. He did not get out and take one weapon up. Krishna allowed from his mouth the pronouncement of the Gayatri once. Those people turned to him as their politician, as their leader, and he used it once. And that Kritya, it was embodied now in different forms. One of them was a female. It turned and it went behind the Sudakshina. For this reason, Sukdev Goswami is telling Parikshit, when a person is dark, filled with darkness, and they pray in this low way because of your misconcept of God and His work and His creation, we all go through moments in your life where things happen and you wonder, how could God, in simple language, how could God allow this to happen to me? If you're honest with yourself, we've been only talking about the tenor of Bhagavad, where a man starts off Bhagavad. My grandfather is Arjun, my great-grandfather is Pandu, and I just got a death sentence. In 7 days, I'm going to die. That is how Bhagavad starts. That is what the preface of this entire conversation. A man that is going to die in 7 days, this jug is 7 days, because we emulate what he did. He sits with a pundit, and the pundit had to save his life now, so they're doing double prayers, triple prayers, 3 times for the day. Take all the sin off his back, because he's going to die, a snake coming to bite him. And he is looking for hope inside of that. He says, but not everybody have that. And if you don't understand what this life is, you will, that is where Vidura says, people go behind happiness. But in the pursuit of happiness, the happiness always running away. And along the way, you're encountering misery, 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 misery. And if you win, somehow you find the happiness in sight of the misery. In the morning, he goes and he asks him, what is this life then? What you're talking about, people could do things like this, corrupt, it even have prayers, it have people with that negative. Pundit, it have that. You know how many people say, Pundit, I don't believe in bad, you know. I'm sure people study that. I don't believe in prayers like that. Don't believe in it doesn't mean it is real. I never see cancer. I don't believe in cancer. It doesn't mean it is coming. When it come, when the trouble come, you have to know how to deflect and how to protect. Auntie Chandra is always singing Hanuman Chalisa. Until that Chalisa don't protect you one day, you might not know the efficacy of that prayer. If you don't build what Bhagavad telling you all day today, if you don't build your faith in something, the day the test come, the day the misery come, the day the darkness come, the day the zombie come in this example, there will be nothing to protect you. If you don't have it when days are good and stable and you have equilibrium in your life, and you could smile, when you are in a place where you are cast into darkness, it might not be the moment to start to look for God and start to pray and want to know every mantra. That is the mistake many people make. As a pundit, when things are good, we make merry. And nothing wrong with making merry, don't get me wrong. But life is about balance. And you groom yourself so that the days you're tested, you know what to do. Think person, just what to do. Because when we're in the hospital ward and we start to pray for people that have to go on a knife, I don't know what to do. I don't know the mantra. It's an next language, for example. I never do Hawan. I never know the prayer, how to do a simple Hawan. But now, heart, blood, dead, surgery, resuscitation coming up. And I want to learn it one go. And if it don't work, as I said, that God is good. Faith is something brought about by your relationship with that God and your understanding of God. Bhagavad is giving the person the purity by listening to Bhagavad. What he says in the last verse, the mortal being who listens to this attentively relates the exploit to another person, explaining the use of black magic to attack good people and good things. The people of Dwarka, for example, living in the house. But other people, forces of negative, are coming for them. And in this case, where the force of good and Christian is protecting the person from no matter what or which form it take, the person is safeguarded from that type of mistake had you done it, if you done it. Last Sunday morning we was talking about how do you absolve yourself if, let me be frank, if you commit abortion, if you throw away a child. There's no pinna to offer for that. I don't know if it was a boy or a girl or the name. Let me just say in this circumstance where the embryo forms in the tube in the womb, Medically, the doctor will say we have to abort this, or the child will die, the mommy will die. It's not good. What about that? How to account for that? It came to me and I cannot ask for forgiveness. So throughout the Bhagavad, it says in a previous thing, Lord Vishnu, when you have this problem, go to him in this way, use this name. But it is the one Vishnu, source of the creation, that could give you that purification of the karma. But if we don't know what you're doing, you'll have to live with the sin, live with the suffering, and stay right where you are. Vrindavan Bihari Lala Ki Jai. Tonight, as I conclude, when Vidura went back to Maitreya the next morning, he started to ask him, as we will continue in the morning, you have to explain some of the things that God does a little better for me. I believe in God, but I do not understand the things that he do. It is said, Sukadeva Goswami tells Parikshit, if a person wants to be absolved of the sins that you are trying to get, please do not think it is just what you know and what you understand, that there is more to it. When a person talks about the world, and then you hear, like when we was talking last night, how he tells Brahma, if you're going to create, for example, the tree, this is how the tree looks. This is how I want it to look. And he had to guide that creation in everything that he creates, in the sicknesses that we are facing. For example, if a person is not very clear on these things, then one day you're going to ask, if God made everybody, where was God when the child was born blind? How is it that people are starving in the world? People have different type of family structure. People are confused. People have different internal enemies and external enemies. And it seems as if I'm constantly in a fight. And when people does say bad things happen to good people every day because of karma, then what karma have to do with the physical ailments that I am having or experiencing? Tomorrow morning, Maitreya started to tell him what this caused the ailments, let me say skin problem, nail problem, head problem, bald head problem, the two different, the length of the toe that you all watching children and say, well, the second too long, that is what it means. How come on your body it have moles? When you hear in discourse Christian Janam coming up, and you will hear people say they looked at the baby and they saw positive marks. One of the things they looked at is the kind of mole, where the mole is sitting, and those things are part of your dharma. Just as how people developed, when Hanuman Baba tells Sri Ram, I have developed Jyotis, the whole science of using Vishnu's power to preface and to figure out, should I take the job? And that is where the person put in their hand in a chakra, in a book, and to get the answer, to guide. When people talk about palmistry or reading the lines on their forehead, those things, which is also part and parcel of Sanatan Dharma. Vastu, dig the hole in the northeast corner. Think about the energies that are involved in each one of that science, and understand that he created those things. When somebody says, oh, if I put my kitchen in the southern side of the house, it means my home will always have food. People will always want to come and eat. The place feels very homely and comfortable. So we as Hindus follow different paradigm. Different things attract people. Different people, I have to ask Pandit Sunil, is it Panchak when I'm building the roof? If Panchak is running and I go to build the roof, I believe as a Sanatanist, things could go wrong, things happen. Me, I know too much about that. I don't believe in it. But if you look at it, go and see people who are Hindu and people who are not Hindu put up that little red flag, the little cloth that we believe in our Gita. Hanuman, they put a little cloth. Some people just put alcohol and that kind of thing on it for some reason. But that red cloth is where they ask Hanuman overcome any issues, for example, with the roof. When you look at it, your Sanatan Dharma is not just puja or pray, but is how to live. When we were talking about Payovrat, when Lord Vishnu is going to come in a dwarf form, how his mother prayed for the baby that is in her womb. When a person starts to understand all these things that were created, it seems like a lot. But when you have trouble, depending on the trouble, there's a prayer or a mantra or some good act, meaning some karmic act, that could help you overcome that problem. Otherwise, you'll just be living in misery after misery after misery. It will be too much for anybody to bear, and it becomes overwhelming. Vrindavan Bihari Lala Ki Jai. Everybody, as we hold, let's all stand as we do Arati before we conclude. Sajam cha varti sanyuktam grahina yojitam mayam Deepam grihana devesham Trailokya timidapaham Jai Jai Bhagwat Bhagwan ki hai aarti पापियों को पाप से है तारती जय जय भागवत भगवान पापियों को पाप से है तारती ये अमर ग्रंथ ये मुक्ति पंथ ये पंचम वेद निराला नव ज्योत जगाने वाला हरि ज्ञान यही वरदान यही हरि ज्ञान यही वरदान यही जग की मंगल की आरती पापियों को पाप से है तारती जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से है तारती ये शांति गीत पावन पुनीत पापों को मिटाने वाला हरि दर्श दिखाने वाला है सुख करनी है दुख हरनी है सुख करनी है दुख हरनी ये मधुसूदन की आरती पापियों को पाप से है तारती जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती ये मधुर बोल जग पंड खोल सन मार्ग दिखाने वाला बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला ये मधुर बोल जग पंड खोल सन मार्ग दिखाने वाला बिगड़ी को बनाने वाला श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही श्री राम यही घनश्याम यही प्रभु की महिमा के आरती पापियों को पाप से है तारती जय जय भागवत भगवान की है आरती पापियों को पाप से है तारती Govinda bolo Hari Gopala bolo. 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 Govinda bolo Gopala bolo. Govinda bolo Gopala bolo. Radha Ramana Hari. Radha Ramana Hari Govinda bolo. Shri Krishna Govinda Hari Murari. Hey Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Hey Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govinda Hari Murari. Shri Krishna Govinda Hari Murari. Shri Krishna Govinda Hari Murari. As we pray together, as we conclude this session, this 9th session, dear Lord, as we are learning, for example, why Lord Shiva had the snake around his neck, different people have been messaging and sending questions, because people who from different faith, people who ask, why do we bless the food? Why is your God wearing a snake around his neck? When Kakbashund said to Garud, I am realizing it's true. When Kakbashund says in Kali Yuga, the devotee, the bhakt, is fighting a war where the enemies are coming every day, but the knowledge, the gyan, is the sword that should be in this person's hand. But Kali Yuga, they have no sword. The person is doing, and what it is do, God? The Baba tell me to do it, my mother tell me to do it. God, I'm realizing it more and more, how much I do not know. Dear Lord, as we get the opportunity, for those of you that are watching virtual or for those that are here in person, help me to ascertain, to gain, to better myself and my understanding of God. The things that are wrong me, myself, why I do the things, the mistakes, the bad that I do. Help me by and large by understanding and gaining the gyan from this yagya and others like it to walk better, move better, be better, to improve, God. With your help, I could do it. Thank you for affording me the opportunity to listen to the different types of discourses that exist in Bhagavad. Together, everybody. Tvameva mata chapita tvameva. Tvameva bandhu chasaka tvameva. Tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva. Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Together. Prem Sabalo Mahapati Mahadeva ki Jai. Pavanaputra Hanumane ki Jai. Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki Jai. Vindravan Bihari Lal ki Jai. Satya Sanatan Dharma ki Jai. Jai Jai. Sitaram. Sitaram, everybody.